Hello, everybody.
Everyone is unmuted now. Hi, sorry guys, I just had a problem with my computer. I had to restart it
Oh, you're fine.
right
Good
at
morning.
12:30. How you doing, guys?
Or good afternoon, where some of you are at. I am Jose Barraza. I don't think I've really gone on.
You have to, now you're starting, and that's always good, you know?
Yes. And if there's anything that you feel I need to switch up in my pricing, please let me know. And that's why we're here to mastermind, right?
Yes, of course.
All right, awesome, guys. And are we waiting for anyone else, or we just get started?
Let me see. It's Robert Pasquale. Admit. Let me stop the recording for a minute.
California, I know everyone here is from all parts of the country, even different countries. And so today, let's talk about pricing property, right? That's something that when we're going to go on listing appointments, and is very vital and critical what we do, especially with homeowners always wanting like 10% more of what the home is actually worth. And what I do when I go on a listing appointment, first, of course, I look at the address. I type it in our MLS system. There's something called the realist tax record. I'm not sure if you guys have that. I look up in there the address just to make sure everything is correct. People on the title, even like the square footage. That's very, very important. Once I get that info, I go into my MLS, and then I pretty much type in the address, and then I'll type in also, I want to make sure to see what kind of property it is. If it's a single family residence, right? A condo, townhome, manufactured home on land. Of course, those are all going to be different. So a standard single family home, I'll make sure that it's a standard sale, right? Because we don't want to compare a home to a home that was probably in a short sale or in a foreclosure. A lot of times those homes tend to sell under market value, and that'll bring a big number. So I'll make sure I'm specific in that sense. And I'm going to put together I'm going to get this all typed out. I wrote this last night, everything what I'm going to go over, and I'll make sure I share it with you guys too. Okay.
All right.
So step number one, I have my address. Make sure it's a standard sale. And once I make sure it's a standard sale, I'll click on active, under contract, pending, closings. I want to make sure and see. I'll start off in a quarter-mile radius. A lot of the homes out here, I'm not sure how it is in where you guys are working in. A lot of the homes out here in the suburban city areas, you're going to find a comparable either in a quarter mile to a half a mile. You might find one or two. The most I'll go out is 1 mile, unless I'm doing like an urban or a rural area, right? Urban, I might go out a little further, 2 miles, if there's any. If not, I'll go a little to the 3 max. And I know a lot of times appraisers will only look in the city. So this will make it tricky out here. I'm sure it's the same with you guys. If we're like in a borderline town, I actually had this a month ago on a home. There was really it's a very nice home in a area in 3 cities. And the only comparables were in the north part, were like 2 miles away. And I was thinking, man, I don't know how we're going to get the comparables here when the homes across the street in the city, which is way more high demand, are selling like 100,000 more. But the appraiser was using the ones in the same city out in the north end of the town. So I know the city is something that they look at big time. Want to make sure it's in the same city. And once we identify our comparables, as far as like in the mile radius, typically I'll choose 3 very comparable as to the square footage and the condition of the home. I'm sure you guys know square footage is big, right? That's what the appraiser is going to look at, one of the main things. And also the condition of the property. And the reason it's important is because we want to make sure that we're presenting something that's very, very similar to the seller. A lot of times the sellers will have a home that sold a couple blocks away or in a different neighborhood, probably for like 100, 200,000 more. And the biggest thing, what sellers always say is, my house is better than any house, right? My house is the best. That's very, very common for sellers to say that. And I'm still working on that part, but we can get into a conversation of that on what to say to when the sellers say stuff like that, because you don't want to tell them, "Oh no, your home is ugly compared to this house," right? We don't want to offend them in their house, but
Of course.
that's a different topic. And so once let me see. Am I going too fast or is everything good? Is it making sense? Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's my first time presenting on Zoom, just so you guys know. Okay. All right. And
You're doing great.
all right, thank you. And another thing that we look into, which might cause higher demand, is the school districts. If your home is in a high desirable school district, there's going to be a lot more demand in that neighborhood for sure. I'm sure in every town we have that. And also something that we notice a lot out here in like the newer neighborhoods, special assessment taxes, Melrose taxes, we call them. I'm sure you guys are familiar with those, right? Yeah. No, so special assessment taxes, Melrose taxes, those are taxes that newer neighborhoods, right? A builder goes into a city and says, I'm gonna build 500 homes here. Now the city tells the builder, hey, builder, I need more police, I need more schools, I need more parks, I need everything in order for this neighborhood. And so the city now tells the builder, hey, so you're gonna pay for this? And the builder's like, I'm not gonna pay for this. Let's tax the people buying these houses monthly to make a little more money on taxes in order so we can afford these new parks, pretty much the new communities, right? Plazas, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what special assessments are. There's some properties out here where the taxes typically out here is like 1.2%. There's some special assessments up to 2.5%. That's a huge difference on property taxes. And people love them. People buy the houses.
So
And
is that percentage on top of the regular property tax?
I believe it is. Is that right, Christian? It's on top? Is it on top of regular tax or is it a separate tax? Are you aware? Do you know?
I don't think
Or is
it's a
it still-
separate tax here. Here is about less than 1%.
Okay. Yeah, so I believe it's just a larger tax, probably not separate from that tax, because out here it's like 1.2% typically in our county. But with the special assessments, it ranges from 1.8 to 2.5 around there.
Hmm.
Yeah. And let's see here. And something that's very critical, what I'm looking at as well, I'm sure you guys do, is the days on the market, right? How long was this home on the market at this comparable? Because the average days on the market out here is about 35 days, more or less. And that's something I'll when I'm looking at homes, or I'm sorry, not days on the market, the last sold comparable. I'll go back from anywhere from 0 days to 120 days. And I want to if I can find comps like 60 days old, because with this changing market, right? 4 months ago, probably the properties were going a little more compared to now. So if I don't find anything in like the last 30 days, 60 days, I'll probably find something in the 120. I don't really have to go back 180 days. I wouldn't do that out here. I don't know how it is where you guys are at, but for sure you're gonna see a big difference it was a totally different market 6 months ago. And especially because we know from the forecast of where we look like the market is heading out here, the market's it's been cooling off. We haven't really seen like a huge dip in the county. I was looking this morning, we're only down compared to a year ago, maybe like 1%, nothing crazy. It's not too much out here. And then condition of the property, I believe we talked about, right? We want to make sure it's very similar. The appraisers, the way they grade these homes are good condition, average condition, poor condition. A turnkey home is going to be in good condition. They're not going to take into account all the they're not gonna give you 50 more thousand because you put a new kitchen in, right? It might add a little value, but nothing huge, nothing crazy. And a lot of times sellers, I'm sure you guys get this all the time. Mr. Agent, I added 50,000 into my kitchen. I painted my house. I did a roof. I did this. I did that. And we all know, like the Mike Ferry script says, right? All homes need roofs. All homes need kitchen cabinets, right?
Yeah.
But we need to make sellers understand this, and that's always the fun part when we're in listing presentations. That's why we train for, right?
Yep.
And let's see. Another big thing, you know, suburban homes, the lot sizes, right, are very similar. There is some areas out here as well, about an hour away, more urban, where the lot sizes will range like half acre, 2 acre. I always take a look at that too if I'm going to do a comparable for a home in a urban home. And let's see. And once I have my comparables also, so I'll take 3 closed, and then I'll only take 1 or 2 active. I don't take any pending. I don't know if you guys take pending. Me personally, I don't take any pending. I like to take active, just to show the seller the competition out there, right? And
You know, my coach once told me something that I always use, and it's really, really interesting.
yeah,
He asked me to show them 3 actives, 3 pendings, and 3 closed, right?
okay,
And I start with the actives, and I tell
Right.
them, this is our competition.
right,
And on top of that, this active shows us at what price properties are not getting sold for,
right,
you know, because if not, they're going to be pending. So now we
Right.
go to the pending. Pending shows us at what price we need to price your property in order to receive an offer.
okay.
All right. So this is a good way to see it.
Yeah,
And then we have the closed sales that shows us at what price properties that when pending at a different price close for after all of the negotiations.
Yeah. So you're
Hmm.
just setting expectations there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
oh, that's really good.
It's
Yeah.
like if we put it here, we might not even sell it. If we
Yeah.
put it here, we're gonna put it under contract. But after negotiations, we're gonna probably be a little bit here.
Right.
Wow, that's really good. Thank you for sharing that.
No,
I
don't
actually
worry.
put that down. I'm gonna start using that because that makes total sense, especially starting in that start number 1 with the active, 2, and then 3. Okay, awesome. And let's see. And how about, because that's pretty much mostly what I wrote down. But how about you guys? Like when in your, is this the way you guys look for comparables when you're looking for comps for your guys' listing appointments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only difference I touch on, JB, is months of inventory, and you know, in our market we're lagging. So you know, our prices are down 7%. Our year-over-year transactions are down about 30% at the end of this month. So going forward, you know, the seller's expectations of what sold is not realistic, because even 60 days, 30 days, like we're seeing our average days on market right now at 59, and our average time to sell 39, which is from the last 6 months, which is obsolete.
Right.
And then we've also got the downward pressure of the interest rates and everything else hammering the market. So setting the price, I use months of inventory because last month we had 3.5 months of inventory, and literally 2 days later we had 11 months because the sales were posted for that previous month. Nothing
Wow.
sold. So now to a seller, you know, to Christian's point, I'm going to start using that. Here's like, I love that 3 strategy because I
Yeah.
always send a message. We don't have a pending file. So I always send a message to the listing agent saying, what kind of activity have you seen? Have you got any offers? And if they've been on 60, 70 days with no offers, I say, look, Mr. Seller, this, if they want to sell, they're going to do a price reduction. So we can't base our price over this one. If they have to sell, they're going to do a reduction, right? So just kind of reframing that.
Brandon,
Exactly. And another way that I see that I use, I mean, is that most of the people not even know what months of inventory of this means, you know. And so what I tell them is like, okay, let's look at this way. In this neighborhood, 6 homes have been sold within the last 6 months. That means that 1 home per month is sold in here, all right? And I show them the list of actives, and I say the next one to sell is always the cheapest. So if we price one at the cheapest price, is the one going under contract within the next 30 days. If we, at what price do you want to price it? They say, you know, at this X price. And I say, okay, that will put us on the 5th place. So if not other listings come to the market, we're gonna be selling yours in 6 months. But here's the trick, and then I show them how many listings went to the market during the last 6 months. During the last 6 months, 6 new listings came to the market. So that means that we are always gonna be 5th, on the 5th place, and we will never sell. So do you want to be always on the 5th place, or do you want to sell your property within the next 3 months? They say, no, we need to sell the property within the next 3 months. Okay, so we need to price it here then.
Yeah,
Christian, how many months inventory you have?
Months of inventory here for single family homes is around, let me tell you that it's tricky because this is Miami. I don't know if this applies to every other place, but if you look at month of inventory, you can tell that we have about 5 or 6 depending on condos or homes. But the thing is that most of 80% of the inventory for me is a lie. It doesn't really exist. When you go to a condominium and you see 10 properties for sale, actually 2 of them are from motivated sellers. The other 8 are people that just bought their properties within the last 2 years, and they call the realtor and say, you know, just put it back on the market for $200,000 more, and if someone comes and wants to pay for it, we're gonna sell it. But I don't think that's real inventory.
What is your, are you, prices going up or down in Miami?
And now they're freezing up, and I think that is coming down. I have sold 1.5 years ago a condo that I priced on $740,000. I sold it for $815,000 because there was a war on this one.
Sure.
And one millionaire New Yorker says, fuck it, I'm gonna give you, you know, $60,000-$75,000 above market value to keep the deal, and he kept it. Now I have another listing, well priced 3 months ago at $750,000. Nobody put in an offer in it until 2 days ago, and I received an offer for $650,000, you know, $100,000 less. And I showed the comps to the seller, and I say, you know, if we go by the comps, we're supposed to sell at 730, 740, as I told you when we meet. But the reality is that nobody's putting an offer at that price, you know? So we have a cash offer for $650,000. And she said to me, what do you think, Chris? I say, you know, it's the only one we received. So if I say don't take it, we might not get even another one like this one. So if I have to recommend you something, it's gonna be take it. And she said, okay, it makes sense, so we're gonna take it. And I said, now that I know that you are taking it, let me just fight for a little bit more. And I finally got 680 for it, you know, and we are on the contract for that price. But the thing is that now that the interest rate is super up, is at 8.6 right now, and for buyers, they're holding up. And the people with cash, they say, okay, fuck it, there's no buyers willing to pay 8.5, so now I'm going to offer $100,000 less.
Yeah, we're only 2 counties away, and I have the exact opposite problem.
Opposite, why?
Because prices are still increasing. And we're about 3 months of inventory.
Whew. It's
And,
probably because people from Miami are moving to Fort Lauderdale, to West Palm Beach, because you can purchase a crappy home in a crappy neighborhood here for $600,000. So if I go to Fort Lauderdale, you can purchase a twice better home for the same money.
yeah, we, in one neighborhood, we had the highest sale price ever, including COVID, by about $50,000. And it just sold the other day.
Are you still
Wow.
seeing multiple offers, Robert?
No, we're not really seeing multiple offers, but I can still use that as saying, you know, if we really price it right, you could get
Right.
multiple offers, because it's a definite possibility.
Wow, 3 months of inventory, that's a dream for a seller.
3.2, yeah. You guys are normally under the fact that 6 months or under is a seller's market, correct?
Yeah.
I talked to a guy, a really good appraiser. He told me with the advent of computers and everything, nowadays 4 months or less is a seller's market, and 4 months or more is a buyer's market, because things sell so quickly with computer, you know, that you can close and get a loan approval and everything in, you know, in 21 days and sell. That's what he said to me. We're about 3.2, and we have a hell of a lot of expireds, exactly like Christian say, because these people are way overpriced. I called 88 expired listings this morning, just for today.
88. Fuck, we don't have that amount here in Miami. It's
Remember,
like
today's first day of November.
okay. Yeah. Today we should have here. I didn't prospect today because I have my mom on vacations, and here and I'm half fascinated, as I told you yesterday. But you know, on the first, we usually we have like 150 expired.
Same.
You guys,
But
one
our
last thing,
inventory is rising, Christian. I'm sorry, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
we have very few minutes here. I wanted to see if we have time to mastermind real quick, very quickly, whatever you know about the lawsuit with NAR. If you know anything interesting that you can share with me or with us, and because that's very interesting to me, and I wanted to know if you guys don't know anything that I don't know.
Well, I know
Try
that
to
Ross-
follow Ricky Caruth.
Ricky Caruth, okay.
Yeah, try to follow Ricky Caruth, because every single day since the trial started, he's making a video explaining absolutely everything about it, you know.
Okay.
And basically is like it finished and the plaintiff won, you know. So these companies, I think it was Keller Williams and those
Coldwell
companies,
Banker,
Coldwell
Remax.
Banker, had to pay them their commissions back.
Christian,
So basically,
Remax, it was Remax and not NRT, the person who owns Coldwell Banker.
yeah,
Okay, Keller Williams did not. I think Remax left NAR, right?
yeah. And
Yeah.
actually they're expecting like about 1 million agents to leave NAR, because actually the NAR didn't protect us in absolutely anything. Actually, they gave them the IDX websites capabilities to Zillow and to a lot of other websites. So actually, if you really think about it, buyers not even need for us anymore.
Well, I gotta look at this as you get lemon, you make lemonade. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
So I look at it completely different. First of all, we're all listing agents, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so we don't care.
We don't care. But number two, a lot of these agents are scared to do buyer's brokers agreements. Okay? And but with a buyer's broker agreement, you're absolutely covered. So if we're good selling agents, and third, if people are leaving the NAR, that means they don't have to practice any standards. They don't have the NAR standards. So we can always say that we're a realtor and that we do follow, you know, standards. So we can use all this stuff for our benefit.
Yeah.
Because there's always two sides of every coin. And I think that this could be good for us if we keep our minds positive. That's the only thing I got to say on that one.
Yes, of course. I was talking with some buyers agents on my office, you know, that I do some trainings there too. And I told me, you better start doing signing the buyer brokerage agreements, because if not, at some point, informed sellers are going to tell you, you know what, I don't want to pay the buyer's agent's commission because I don't have to. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to put here 3% commission and this is all for me. That's it, sign here. And I will not care about them. So if they don't protect their commission, I don't have the obligation to protect it for them.
Yeah, I think for the listing agent perspective, one, we can make more money because, you know, if they're paying less commission, they're netting more money. We can do other services that can get our commission higher. The only thing I think is also we're probably going to have to end up doing more work, because if there's not a buyer's agent involved, you know, a lot of that responsibility is going to fall into the listing agent doing a lot of more paperwork and more stuff, even though you're not representing the buyer. But yeah, I think I see the opportunity there too. If they don't protect them, we don't have to do anything about it.
Actually, you know, with all of those lousy agents going out there telling people that they will list their property for $100 on the MLS or for $500 on the MLS, there's a lot of them doing that. I think it's a matter of time until agents start going out there on listing appointments and say, you know, I only charge you 3%, and stop talking about 6%.
Right.
It's like, imagine the impact. The other agent is going to charge you 5-6%. I come in with my listing agreement ready, only to charge you 3 or 3.5%.
Yeah.
How about for the buyer's agents? 0, 0, 0 on the contract. I'm going to still get my commission. If they don't get it, it's their problem.
So you think that's what's going to happen?
I see it happening because there's a lot of people that really don't care about real estate. They really don't care about their peer agents, you know, their fellow agents. I mean, they really don't care. So I think it's a matter of time until we start seeing this. And when that happens, I'm not going to be the one with the spade fighting for the 6%. It's like, I'm going to fight for my part and you fight for yours.
Yeah.
Lenders are talking about that they'll include the buyer's commission in their loans.
I was thinking about that, but how can you do that? That's what, an unsecured loan? You know, because
They might want more down payment down, but they will finance that. That's what,
Yeah.
what a mortgage guy told me. That is certainly not coming from God. Let me put it that way. That's one person's opinion.
Yeah.
yeah.
Also,
I was thinking about
I
that.
asked my lender and they laughed at me.
Yeah.
They said, no, we're not fucking paying for anything. We're not
No,
fucking
'cause I was thinking about
financing the
it.
commission.
If
They told me
finance
Fannie Mae and
commission-
Freddie Mac were going to do that.
Oh, yeah? Probably. I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe,
I'm sure.
maybe my guy doesn't know yet.
I'm sure someone is going to profit from it. 100% sure of that. Yeah.
You know, in other countries, I'm from Argentina, for example, right?
Yeah.
And it's really tough getting Argentinians to pay 6% when they're selling. I'm sorry.
God bless you.
Thank you. Because in Argentina, everyone pays for their share of the commission. If you're purchasing a home, you pay the commission for your agent, and the seller pays their commission to their agent.
Yeah. So I asked a lot of the agents here that are from different countries, South America, Europe, in almost everyone said in their countries is that way. So the seller pays the listing agent, and the buyers pays their agent. And, you know, the seller doesn't pay for the buyer's agent commission, or a lot of times there's no buyer agent. It's just one
Brandon,
agent.
how do you do it? Brandon,
Yes,
how does Canada do it?
listing fee agreement is 7 and 3, for example, and then that's split in half, 3.5 and 1.5 on the first 100,000 for the listing agent or listing brokerage, and then the buyer's agent 3.5 and 1.5 for the buyer's agent. But we don't have dual agency. They outlawed that in 2017. So I don't know how this commission thing is really going to affect us, because if they leave us as the listing agent to do both sides, we fiduciary, we can't. We're not allowed. We're prohibited from acting for both parties, so it'll be very interesting.
I don't
You'll
think
have
it's
to
gonna
be-
affect Canada right now at all.
Yeah,
No, we can
Well-
act for both, represent both parties as a with a brokerage agreement. That's why I always I never provide exclusive representation, just like brokerage representation.
All right.
It's gonna
Well,
be
thanks for
tough.
that, guys.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, who's presenting next week?
Let me see if I can
Don't
see
look
it.
at me. I've done it 3 times.
I've done it more than that.
You better, Rico Suave.
Give me 1 second. I have to go to accountability group now. Search.
Will you guys be at the production retreat in San Diego?
Well,
I will be.
I don't think so, because with my kids now, a lot of activities. I cannot leave on my wife alone.
Wife or wives?
No, just one. I'm not the rat,
I had to make sure, Rico. Just had to make sure. That was an honest question to an honest person.
Yeah, no, it's just one. Let me see. Pull. Now I got it. So pricing property. Next one is going to be on handling objections, and I'm going to be presenting.
Okay.
awesome.
Perfect.
And we're not gonna meet Thanksgiving week, correct?
No, it's going to be next week.
No, I'm talking about Thanksgiving week, the 23rd. Or the
Let me see.
22nd.
Let me see. On the 23rd, negotiating contracts, nobody clicked on it.
No, but that's the day before Thanksgiving. A lot of people take those 5 days off. Can we skip that week? Is
Yeah.
that okay with the rest of you guys?
Yes, of course.
It's okay with
Yeah,
me.
sure. I've had my Thanksgiving.
We know you had the Thanksgiving. I know it was a Monday about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'll just prospect instead. That's great.
I do
All
have to
right.
go now, guys, but thank you for the mastermind. It was great.
Yeah, great job, JB. Awesome job.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Jimmy. Christian, give your mom a big hug and kiss for me. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you so much. Guys, have a good one.